Welcome to the Toyota eSports Challenge, and we are bringing all the rad action that you expect when you're watching a rally race into video games. What? WRC9, we're going to be playing it for the next few weeks, and I'm not alone, of course. My name is Tekel, you've seen me before, but I brought a friend along. Not only is he the principal for the White Rabbit Gaming racing team, he's also a sim racing commentator slash expert slash racing genius. He knows all the things, right, G-Max?
I mean, everything except for expert, yes. An avid sim enthusiast. And yeah, I'm stoked that Toyota's decided to bring the next eSports Challenge into my sort of community. And I mean, rally, there's nothing more exciting if you're into that kind of thing.
Even better though is that we're getting a bunch of pro rally drivers into the mix from the Toyota Gazoo team, and they're facing off against, I mean, these are some of your friends that you've commented on, some of the best sim racers in the country.
No, I mean, that's the coolest part, is that it's like real life drivers now competing against sim drivers. We've seen it happen during the lockdown period. You know, people got interested in it, and it's cool to see, like, post that everyone is still into that sort of vibe. And I mean, for my drivers from WRG's side, it's a complete 360 to what they're used to. They've only done grip racing on racetracks, so rally's different for them. And then you've got the likes of Alaric Enslin and Charles Wilkin. They're two seasoned veterans when it comes down to rally. Alaric was sort of in the track mania side before, and he just transitions over to something like this instantaneously.
It's going to be tons of fun racing against real racing drivers. That's what's going to be happening. And we're going to throw something else into the mix. We got a bunch of your favorite celebs, faces you're going to recognize. They're going to try some rally racing as well. 3 races for you today. And for the rest of this tournament, what you can expect every week, we've got 3 lobbies racing a week. For the first 4 weeks, it's stage number 1. So this is all about getting points on the board, because the top 4 racers in stage 1 are going to move forward into stage number 2. And if you are watching at home, you can enter as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's also cool. So each week, if you set the top time in your relative lobby, you can then get through into the grand final as well to compete for 15,000 rand yourself. So it's not just about the guys that we see on screen, right? It's also about getting the community involved and, you know, get WRC9, set some lap times, and see how competitive you can be. I've seen Twitter on my side, people that I've been racing with in grip racing games now going over to rally and saying, oh, this is good fun, I'm top 100 in the world. You know, so that's what it's all about, just trying to see where you can stack yourself up.
There you go, and you mentioned that 15,000 rand. 60,000 rand prize pool. So how it's going to work is our pro racers, as you'll see today, 15,000 rand for the winner of their group. But for you watching at home, 3 different opportunities. If you're on PlayStation, Xbox, or PC, each of those platforms wins 15,000 rand in that final. So you just have to race, submit your best time. If you want to find out more information, hashtag Toyota eSports. We've spoken a lot though. We've got 3 races. I want to see this, the pro sim races against that Toyota Gazoo team. I think we need to jump into game. Well, when I say game, I mean race.
Yeah,
race number 1.
Race number 1. So this is going to be exciting stuff. Like you said, again, sim racers versus real life drivers. These guys have driven a variety of real life cars, and I think a little bit difficult for them to adjust to, you know, the sim racing side of things. So they're racing against guys that have put hours and hours into this. So let's just put that on the table. It's not like these guys have just got hold of a copy. They've been grinding it out to try and see how they're going to compete today.
And also rallies back, like real life rallies. So these guys are having to balance prepping for real life rallies, and now we're throwing them behind sim wheels and being like, oh, during the night you have to race.
Yeah, just by the way, you have to try and stack up against some of the top guys in their industry. So, you know, I'm glad that we're sitting here and get to commentate on it and don't have to put our names on the line and see where we stack up.
No, we don't, but we are going to now watch that first race. Let's chat a little bit. I know the two sim racers, Bruno and Jason, extremely fast. These are your boys, of course, as White Rabbit Gaming's principal. So you know how they race, but tell me a little bit about these pros that we're going to see. The real life racing drivers in the mix here.
I mean, Mandla, Henk, and Guy all coming out here and representing for Toyota Gazoo Racing. And, you know, for them, like I've said, if they haven't had the number of hours that the sim guys have come into, they're going to be in for a shock to the systems. These guys have grounded. I'm positive for the sim racing community, but I want to see how they stack up indeed.
I love this. They race real rally cars, but they might just struggle. We're racing, of course, in Kenya. This is an incredible stage. We get to celebrate Africa in week number 1. Tell me a bit about the conditions of this.
Yeah, so I mean, in Gema, the stage that we're going to be racing today, like you said, in Kenya, what was cool was that Kenya was going to be included in the real WRC stages this year. And all the things happened with 2020, and it was going to be the highlight of it coming back. So it's cool that it got included in WRC9. So we might not get to see it in 2020 now in the real life, but it's included in the sim. And like you said, Africa, our home continent, always cool to kick things off with something local. And the circuit it offers everything. It's got fast straights, it's got narrow chicanes, it's got hazards, it's got animals. We'll see animals darted around as well. So, I mean, they're racing through the wilderness. I know it's known as the Safari Rally, where they call it that. So, it's in the wilderness, lots of straight sections, but again, narrow, tight turns, and I think we're in for a bit of a mixed bag. So it's a clear day, there's no rain, and that's also something that we're going to talk about a little bit as we get into things, is that there are different stages of weather that they've thrown into these guys. So the first stage these guys are racing on, nice and dry. Next week could be something different, could be raining, and that just changes the mix entirely. But today, nice and clear, sunny day. I think it's midday. So yeah, best shot for them to show us what they have to offer.
Up for the countdown. Let's watch these guys race. Your Pro Sim racers going up against your Toyota Gazoo Rally team. Here we go, the countdown begins. You can see them all there on the bottom. And of course, as they start and get going, we can see that first quick shoot off. It's a nice entry, I think, into this track in the beginning.
I mean, it's a nice flat open start, yes, and then it suddenly throws you now into the mix, and we see Henk already kick flipping his Yaris over. He's now lost some time on the board. Mandla, he's going to take that position back up at the top. Jason Absmeyer is leading things away. Bruno Kirili is following in not quite close pursuit. A decent gap that Absmeyer has built up. And then, of course, Mandla from our real-life drivers is the first of them in third place. He's fighting it out here with Guy, and they're neck and neck. But up at the front, Jason just sort of showing us why he's been practicing and rehearsing so much into that tight handbrake left-hander past the hut. You don't want to hit the tree on the inside, and we see Bruno getting through there nice and clean as well. How will Guy fare? Also, decently clean sound.
This is what's interesting when you're watching, just so that you can see who you're watching. And right now it is, of course, Jason. When you look at that overhead camera, it doesn't look like he's driving, it looks like he's flying. And if you look at that time difference, that's exactly what he's doing. Mandla now just getting a feel for the sides of the track, maybe just wanting to feel that gravel out a little bit. I don't know what the plan was there.
Yeah, I mean, that section that he came into, that double chicane, you can't cut it at all. So if you do clip those rocks, you see how it just stops the car entirely. So it's that balance between being on that loud pedal and then being able to brake and slow things down. Through the chicanes goes Jason Absmeyer. I mean, we call them chicanes. They're really not. He's just handled those perfectly. Bruno, a little bit slower through them here, a calmer approach. He wants to get a solid time in without wrecking the car and those kind of things. Guy now, him and Mandla, look at them neck and neck over the jump now into the chicanes themselves. As looks like Mandla and Guy are going to be navigating that cleanly too.
Taking it really slow, they're slowing down a little bit, probably still getting a feel for the whole game as well. This is probably one of the first times that they've had a chance to race it. Now we're going to open up a little bit. You just see Jason flying ahead. This is insane. I don't think anyone's going to be able to catch him. Maybe Bruno, I don't know, but now we get to see Henk coming in to do that bridge over there, and
oh, he's absolutely
happened there?
I mean, he was catching up to Mandla and Guy in front of him, and if he hadn't collided with those bales on the side before the bridge, he would have lost it. And Jason coming to the end of that fast section that you talked about, still fifth gear tapped, slowing it down just briefly, but oh, what a drive coming out from Jason at the moment. Bruno could still be in it if Jason makes a mistake, but oh, Mandla just before that straight, gonna clip things up. Look at the damage he's done now as well. His suspension and brakes have been compromised, and he's still got two sectors to navigate.
We're saying that Jason is still flying ahead there. Henk now right at the back. He's on this open pace, so this is quite nice, this open stage of it. You can just put your foot flat.
Oh!
Or you can do that and go for a little spin, maybe wanting to see all the scenery around him.
And look at that, Mandla going to be able to capitalize on that spin that he's had, and he's going to be able to breeze past. Jason now into the final sector of the track. It's a quick lap time at the moment. We're 3 minutes, 5 seconds in. And I mean, if you know anything, if you're into the last stage there, that's a very decent time to be looking at. Bruno also doing a good job, but it really is Jason leading things away, and both Bruno and Jason seem to be flying in the server. Their cars indicating the same sort of thing when we switch to these helicams.
Got a feel for those sim rigs. They know how this goes. The pro racers, of course, are just trying to feel this all out. You can see Manle, Henk, Guy, they all look really focused. But as I say that, Jason flies across the finish.
Takes the victory, and not even a little smile coming out from Jason there. He's just ready for the next rally. Bruno now has to chase down that clock. 18 seconds for him to cross the line. He does manage to do so. Bruno finishes up. Now Guy, Manle, and Henk need to get to the finish line before this time counts down, Sam.
There's two of them. Obviously, they're starting to get towards that final section, but I don't think there's enough time. 3 seconds to go. There is no ways these professional rally racers are going to finish.
Nope, they don't. And it's going to be DNFs for Guy, Manle, and Henk overall. And I did say it, Sam. This game is something that if you have practiced it a lot, you're in for a treat.
Did you expect that though? Because I expected them to at least put up a bit of a fight. I thought that they raced really well. I've played this game. I've watched lots of other people race and play this game. Their times were really good considering, but just cannot touch. I mean, Jason, of course, out at the front there. That was, I'd say, a flawless round.
Yeah, I mean, it did not look like he made any mistakes there. He had a good run coming out. Didn't quite catch his final time at the end of the clock, but you know, for me, it's all about seeing what the results are at the end. They're all going to stack up and they're all going to fight out. I mean, we've still got another lobby of these drivers to shoot out, and they're all competing for time at the end of the day. That's kind of what's cool about rally. Generally, cars wouldn't race on the same circuit at the same time like this, so you see them ghosted up, which gives us as commentators a great perspective to kind of see relative where they are to one another. But in real life, you'll just be out there by yourself. So as soon as you cross that finish line, if you are up at the front like Jason was, you've only got 40 seconds to get to the line. So it's not easy when you're paired up against fast guys in your lobbies.
What is the advice though for those rally racers, the real life rally racers, that you could maybe, if they're watching right now, what sort of advice would you give them to improve their times for next week?
I think they would need to let me go in their rally car with them to talk through sort of the was I not?
I see what you're doing. So yes, both of us should be allowed in the real life rally cars,
sure.
And that's going to help them in game. I completely agree. Let's go with that.
I think it's a solid thing. I mean, if they let us in the car, we'll give them some more tips and tricks to maybe catch up to, you know, team principle of White Rabbits. I might be able to share some tips and tricks. I'm just going to flex my, I mean, I don't drive, I just have to sit here and commentate. So it was an exciting first round. I'm excited for round 2 as well. So do we go over to that?
Lobby number 2, race number 2 in the Toyota eSports Challenge. We've still got our pro sim racers driving against our Toyota Gazoo team. Of course, all driving in Toyota Yaris's in WRC9. A little bit about these 2 pro players though, because I know that these are 2 of the fastest gents in a sim rig.
Yeah, these 2 drivers, especially in the rally side of things, when we were approached to find sort of to enter into this, they weren't quite sure of who should be approached with it. Alaric Enslin and Charles Wilkin, 2 names that just immediately came up in the dirt rally side of things, that I've had championships that have been run in old WRCs before WRC9. We've had these guys sort of popping up, and you can just see some talent when they're, you know, a good step above everybody else competing against them. So I mean, Alaric Enslin from my side, Track Mania, I mentioned it during our intro. He has this ability to just not focus on anything that's there. It's just like a laser beam, and he just goes. Charles Wilkin, equally as talented. So I'm glad that these 2 have been these 2 are the top 2. These are the 2 to watch. Jason and Bruno have come over. They're kind of doing a little you know, introduction into rally. These two are blitz.
Yeah, these 2 are blitz, but they are racing against 2 very fast gents in real life as well. Of course, Janelle de Villiers and Michael van Rooyen. I'm excited to see these guys because I think that, you know, they're competitive, and they've done this in real life, man. They know what's up. They're gonna bring it in hot. Of course, we won't tell them before the race that Alti currently holds, if I'm not mistaken, the record in game for the fastest time on this particular
in the
stage.
world. I mean, Vulcan and Enslin have been trading those plays. I tweeted out about it, and they've been sort of just upping each other each time to just take that #1 spot, and that's in the world. So it's again, I want it to be a little bit bantery and say, will the real life drivers be able to finish the stage here? You know, maybe get one.
We didn't see them finish the first one. That's the problem. I don't know. I'm going to have faith. I think that Janelle and Michael are going to bring it. They've seen their co-drivers not maybe do such a great job in that first one, so they're not going to let that happen. They're ready. They're bringing it.
Okay, I like the positivity side again.
Let's go.
We have to have two sides: sim racer, real life driver. You've chosen your side. I've chosen mine. I'm not upset about it, but should we jump into the lobby?
Let's jump into this lobby. Let's watch this race. I'm very, very excited. Two of the fastest sim races up against some of the best rally car races we've seen. Let's get into it right now. This is going to be exciting. We've seen how fast these guys can go. There's the countdown. Off they go. They start.
And there we get, again, we see them featured up at the bottom, which is such a cool little add-on. We get to see them in the moment, Alaric, Charles, Janelle and Michael, and we get to switch between their different POVs as they drive around. I mean, Janelle already is 2 corners down from Charles Wilkin. Alaric and Charles, look at them on that timing board, just trading places, less than a second between them as they get close to, oh, that's going to cost Alaric big time. Goes around on 2 wheels, doesn't flip the car, but that is going to let Charles get himself up half a second.
LT is basically sniffing the exhaust of Charles. But when we say that, look at those drivers, Janelle and Michael at the back there. They're putting up quite a good fight. It's looked pretty clean in this first section of the stage.
They have looked decently clean. I mean, they're 8 seconds off of the leader at the moment. De Villiers up at the back here. He's rounding up, coming through. Oh,
Janelle wanted to stop because there's actually elephants in the game. You didn't see that. That's what he did there. Okay. He wanted to just brake, turn, have a look at the elephants, enjoy the scenery. He knows he's fast. He knows he's got this.
So Charles and Alaric definitely not waiting for any elephants at all. And Alaric here chasing down Charles as they go through that tricky section close to that fence on the left side. We've seen drivers in practice lobby. Oh,
Michael!
We've seen Michael do it just here. Goes and clips into it and spins the car around. It does grip you up, and that's going to cost you some time getting back. Look at Charles flying through the chicane in inverted commas.
Doesn't look like a chicane. He just flew right through that. Incredible pace from those two top drivers. LT as well. He's so close there. You can just see him. He's just begging for Charles to make a mistake so he can get over it.
Oh, that's exactly the mistake that he's made. We saw Alaric just catching up, and Alaric's going to get passed over the bridge. I'm not quite sure if Charles actually lifted coming down before it, but it's definitely cost him some time.
Here we go, Michael, showing the spectators something. Okay, not showing them something fun, maybe just taking them out. There's a penalty, right? If you take out a spectator, that happens.
I mean, you should go probably to prison because, and now Janelle is, oh!
Janelle says that he actually just said, I killed the people. You definitely did. Both of you took out some human beings.
Definitely took out some human beings, and that's going to be a time penalty to them indeed. So look at them now, 25 seconds behind Charles at the moment for Van Rooyen, and De Villiers is almost a minute behind, and Alaric, though, is up in the front. He's not letting Charles have that. He's taken the lead again. Charles here trying to chase him down, but look at that gap that Alaric's starting to build. They are coming up to the end of the second last sector. Only 1 sector left to go, and this is really neck and neck between the top two.
They are miles ahead of Janelle and Michael. That is insane. Even with the 15-second hit-a-person penalty, which is 15 seconds, you can just see Michael's got this open space, but I just don't know if either of these two...
Oh, big rollover, and he carries on rolling, and that car is done. Does not finish, ends the car, terminal damage goes down.
So that's the thing about this game is you do actually damage your car, and if you damage it too much, you are out, and that is what we've just seen happen.
I mean, that is just, the timing sheet has just gone all crazy going out there, as it looks like Van Rooyen on the timing sheet goes up, but it will be Alaric Ensland to cross the line. Charles Wilkin, not going to be far behind him. Janelle also now not going to struggle. Oh, he's struggled out. He's got 20 seconds to cross the line himself, and hasn't gone well at all. His car also on the verge of complete write-off. If you look down at the bottom left, just yellow indicators, 8 seconds. He's not near finishing, and I don't think we're going to see a finish from our pro racing drivers here today.
Janelle's not even going to get there. The last part of the race is done. Both of them don't finish. Of course, Michael just wrote his car off. Janelle came close to writing it off. And then someone just said there it's a close one. I do think that is definitely between Charles and Alti, because how incredibly close were those two drivers. I cannot believe the speed at which they went. How does that time differ from the first lobby we saw with Jason?
No, I mean, so Alaric and Charles there both set 3:25s. Charles being just 9/10 behind Alaric there, so takes home second place. I think that Jason did a 3:41, so he was well off the pace of Insulin and Charles. Decent for him and decent for Bruno to get in, but like I said to you, Insulin and Wilkin, when it comes to WRC, the two to watch.
Now remember, of course, our racers are going to be racing for the next 4 weeks. They're trying to get points on the board with those fast times, and then the top 4 racers will move forward into the finals in stage number 2. Right now, those top 4 racers are all our sim racers, our real life rally racers. They didn't get a chance to finish, so for next week, we're going to set you some homework. You need to get over the finish line, and no writing off cars either.
No.
That Toyota Yaris is way too nice for you to roll off into the bush.
No, it hurt my heart when I saw him kickflip it to infinity and see the retirement message come up. So absolutely we want to see some finishes from the pro drivers, but we got something a little bit fun next. I mean, it's the influencers time.
This is the influencers / celebrities / faces that you know now. You've seen the pros do it, and I just want you to remember this image before we get into this, is that our real life rally drivers, even though they didn't finish, they were putting on pretty clean runs throughout. They looked really competitive. Are the influencers, I'm wondering, because a lot of these influencers, they play games. That's what they do on the weekend. So I'm wondering if they're going to be able to show our rally racers up.
Well, let's see.
You've got to see your favorite real life rally drivers battle it out against pro sim racers here for the Toyota eSports Challenge. But now, the serious stuff begins.
This is where Tech Girl would have found herself if she wasn't in
the commentating seat.
She would be here.
Just want to say as well that I'm almost 100% sure I'm going to put my neck on the chopping block that I could race faster. I mean, we don't know. I'm saying that.
Spicy, I like it.
But you could say this because we're going to commentate for the next 4 weeks, so they never have to see me race. Let's introduce you, though.
It's conflict of interest for us to do driving and
exactly. Yeah, we can only commentate. It's a conflict of interest. There'll be no racing from us. We
can go in rally cars from real life drivers, though.
Yeah, there's no conflict there.
Just double checking.
Let's get into this now with our celebs / influencers. I want to chat to you a little bit about who you're going to be looking at, because they're people you know, they're people we know as well. So that means that we expect a lot from them. First up for me, she's someone that I've looked up to for a long time, one of my idols, Pippa Shabalala. The first lady of gaming. You'll recognize her. She's hosted gaming TV shows. She's been all over her face and gaming. Grew up playing video games. Pippa was. So no pressure here, Pippa, but we expect great things. And then your friend, of course, Ryan Kankowski. The rugby player's in the mix as well.
I like to call him my friend, yes. Through gaming, we've been able to meet up and hang out. So keen to see what Ryan's got to offer. I remember back in the days I was doing PUBG, Ryan was involved in that, and I'm glad to see him picking up the racing shoes and trying to fulfill those.
So Ryan's in the mix as well. And then he's an actor, he's an MC, content creator. He can do everything. Don't know if he can race yet. We'll find out. Mojak, of course, is also here. And OK Wasabi, your favorite YouTuber, who claims to be a very hardcore gamer. I've seen him play a lot, so I think
he is a hardcore gamer.
He is a hardcore gamer,
and he's talented. He's good at those fighting games, and I've seen he's got the controller down.
You got the controller down. Can he race? That's going to be the question here.
I mean, that's also they aren't not the same peripherals, right? We saw our pro drivers all in their race seats and professional, like pedals, and I don't think everybody here has got the same play style coming out. So they are playing on controllers or keyboards or.
Hope no one's playing on a keyboard.
I mean, if Ryan's still playing on a keyboard, I saw him on Twitter playing on a keyboard. If he's still playing on a keyboard, I'll be upset.
And then we've also got comedian Simon. He's here as well. He'll bring. I'm hoping not comic relief. I hope that he's just going to put foot and finish first. That's what he's aiming for.
That's the best way to bring smiles, is taking home a championship win in the influencers section. Of course, being up against 5 other influencers, there's a lot to play for, and that's always fun. Head-to-heads, people you know, people in your scene, people that you're going to meet again, and being able to say, to remember that Toyota eSports Challenge.
Yeah.
That time I wrecked you.
Final influencer, here's the good things guy, Brent Lindeque. He had a little bit of technical difficulty. He had organized himself a professional racing wheel, the pedals, the whole thing. He's going to be on a controller. Apparently, didn't quite get it to work. So that's always a little bit
Wait,
frustrating.
so he got it?
Got the wheel, he's got the pedals.
Couldn't get it to work.
Couldn't get it to work. There was some
Tell him to hit
complications
me
in
up.
the tech.
I'll help him out. I mean, you can't. I feel bad for the guy before you even get to watch. Like, he was expecting to be on a wheel and pedals, and now he's going to do it there.
What they say though, bad workman blames their tools.
I blame my tools all the time.
There we go. Should we get into this now?
I'm
Let's
not a
race.
bad workman. Yeah, cool.
You're not a bad workman.
No,
Brent
let's
is
get
not a
into
bad
it.
driver, we hope. Fingers crossed. Let's see how our influencers go. Counting it down there, you see all their super serious faces. A little cheeky smile from Ryan as he begins.
I mean, that was a cheeky smile, but it's dead on serious from there on out. Brent here, definitely not getting the whole shot with the rest of the influence. He sees them peeling away, and he's struggling. Ooh! Tickle, he's rolled it early on, and
I
that's
think
not...
Brent was just doing that because he wanted to give everyone else a good chance.
Okay,
that
fair,
was his goal.
fair.
I
So
think.
Simon also going to spin it out on one of the corners. Okay, Wasabi going to do some kick flips. He's going to get the car back round. Like you said, that's the elephant section, right? You want to go on a tour, and he's decided he's going to do it with a 360-degree view too.
He wanted to show the elephants what he's got. Okay, Ryan right up at the front here. He is looking quite confident, quite strong. Mojak is right behind him though, sniffing those rear wheels. These two are both looking really competitive, but Pippa, I don't think we should underestimate her sitting down there. She's just waiting to make her move, I think.
I mean, it looks like Pippa just taking things nice and casual.
Ryan,
Ryan,
what was
big
that?
mistake into the hut between the Landy, and that's going to cost him some time. Does manage to get it back round though, as we see Pippa going through. Much cleaner, uses the exit to tap her way round. I like that.
Ryan did spend some time in Cape Town. I think he was just showing us that he can in fact parallel park.
Oh, I like the little spicy addition there as we see Mojak now going through that tricky little chicane section. The chicken fence very close there for Ryan as well. We saw them catching out the pros. Let's see if we'll catch anyone else out. And Simon now,
Simon
big roll,
into the
Pippa as
fence.
well.
Pippa as well. What are they doing? Everyone's getting stuck there on that corner.
The co-driver, your co-pilot is telling you do not cut, and that is the reason why. There's little rocks that will throw you over, and if you cut and like that again, Mojak doing the same thing. He's going to roll it into the chicken fence. Goes Ryan, spins it round, but gets it back under control. We'll get it back on circuit to head towards that fast chicane section underneath those tarpaulins. And
Watch
catches
spectators,
the...
Ryan! Oh, no!
He's caught the fence. He hasn't taken out a spectator, but he has picked himself up an additional 5-second time penalty. Mojak now doing some parallel parking as well. Doesn't pick up some spectators, gets himself respawned. And look at Simon. I was going to say clean through.
I was about to say Simon's looking really good, but had a little bit of a tough time, and a second tough time, maybe looking for a shortcut through the town.
You know, this is not Crash Bandicoot Racing. This is WRC9. You will get severe... Look at Pippa. Pippa, like you said, up into third there, just holding off. Ryan using an alternative route there. He's going to flip the car around over the bridge. Is this going to open things...
Is it going to open? I was going to say Ryan was doing a little bit of a show thing there. Wanted to just show us that he knows how to kick flip a car.
I mean, kickflip the car, chicken fence going down again. Ryan's struggling here. Look how damaged his car is, and he's going to flip it again. That's going to let the lead go out to Mojak here. Look at Mojak's car. It's absolutely not destroyed. Ryan's car looks like he bought it second hand, but he's got the pace. He's now going to spin it round, and that's not where he wants to do it. Right before the start, or the big long stretch to really get out into second gear. Mojak powering along. Pippa starting to chase down onto the likes of Wasabi and, of course, Ryan Kankowski. And, that puddle catches Mojak off. He didn't need that. And that time penalty is going to cost him. Ryan!
There we go. Zooms right past, despite the fact that his car is close to dead. Ryan has taken that lead, raced right on through.
The only thing not damaged about Ryan's car is the gearbox. So
the gearbox.
He's obviously not been banging through the gears hard enough. Wasabi, they're going to be taken by Pippa down the straight. And it's not even because of a damaged car. But look at Wasabi's gaming position.
This is an interesting one. Get it up in your chest. Hold it steady. Is that what he's trying to do?
Yeah, he's trying to stabilize the car as much as he can. Brent Lenderque, though, is he... every time we seem to see Brent, he's...
I've heard via the grapevine Brent is a fan of safaris. I'm wondering if maybe he's just taking it slow, looking to enjoy.
Look at Pippa here. She's managed to get Wasabi whilst making a mistake, and Simon going to be rolling the car again. So quite a few rollovers being caught out here in the in-gamer stage. We mentioned it in the beginning. Those little rocks on the inside of the apex is so hazardous.
Really careful to just avoid those. Here we go. Okay, Wasabi back in the mix. He's chasing Pippa. Is he going to be able to take her?
it looks like he is going to get ahead of her here. I mean, it's going to come down to time penalties at the end of the day, it looks like. But Ryan Kankowski up at the front. He's only 6 seconds ahead of OK Wasabi here, so not a big lead. But Wasabi with a big spin. We hear him going wild in the microphone himself. He's upset with that. And Pippa now going to be gifted up into second place, it looks like.
Pippa's moving into second place. Someone's fed her snacks. I'm presuming it was her co-driver, so she's looking quite happy there. Just keeping it calm, keeping it cool. Ryan is holding on to that lead though, and he's about to fly through the finish. There you go. Ryan Kankowski takes this fastest time.
The cheeky little finger for number 1 over the lip there as we see Pippa coming down with OK Wasabi as well. Interesting to see where they're going to cross the line. Of course, the timing sheet goes a bit crazy once everyone finishes and we have to wait for the end, but Pippa looks like she gets it in second. Wasabi coming through as well. Simon and Brent coming down at the back of the order, but Brent's car definitely not looking happy in terms of damage. He definitely got some tips from Ryan Kankowski.
He got some tips from Ryan, but he's not going to finish. Brent just took it slow. He wanted to enjoy the sights. It is a beautiful stage.
I mean, you've got to take it all in, right? When you're in Kenya, why not look at all the beautiful wildlife that's out there? I understand what he's saying, but as we can see, Ryan Kankowski, a solid victory. 5 minutes and 5 seconds on the clock. I mean, was that... You said you could be in here and be competitive. Is that looking competitive for you?
I don't want to talk about it. Okay, so we're all here to comment at my racing. It's not important, nor is my time of 5 minutes and 40 seconds. I got you. So let's chat a little bit about Simon, though, at the bottom there, in 5th place. I'm a bit disappointed about where he finished because I thought he looked really strong.
Listen, I mean, it's the first stage. There's still 4 weeks for them to go through, 4 different stages. They go all across the world, different conditions. Maybe one of these guys is an unexpected... rain driver and brings out something special, but different to the eSports side, we saw most of the drivers finish, only Brent not, so even down to Simon in 5th place, crossing the line and getting a time in, so you can see how much closer it was. They all within 40 seconds of one another, only 14 seconds behind the likes of Ryan up in 1st, so it's not a massive gap for them, and I think the later weeks are going to be interesting. They're going to go back and practice now. You know they're grinding this game.
You know they're going to grind this. And I think we're all about stats, right? Anyone who watches rally racing or even sim racing, you're all about keeping stats, keeping record. Just to let you know, every single racer in this lobby rolled their car at
100%.
That happened. So should we make bets? I think we should put a little wager down that I expect the same next week.
I mean, I think it's a safe bet, really. Rolling in rallies and flipping the car, you're pushing it to the limits, so possibly going to see that happen.
Ryan Kankowski takes the fastest time. He's going to be very happy with that. I think OK Wasabi is going to grind hard for the rest of the week. He looks a bit disappointed when he found out that he wasn't quite fast enough, but I think Pippa might be the dark horse.
I mean, she definitely brought out something special there. The crew chief on the side feeding her snacks. I think MVP most certainly for them, and definitely going to keep an eye out and see what she brings in later stages.
First week done, 3 lobbies, Toyota eSports Challenge, some of the best rally racing we've seen, WRC9. I'm excited to see what your times are though. That for me, watching what everyone else is entering, getting an idea of how those times compare to our influencers, how they compare to our pro racers, that's going to be the fun one.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait for people to message me and say, I should have been here as a pro driver. And if you're not grinding those times and you're not at the top there, then don't even message me.
Fair enough. I think it's going to come this week on Twitter. And if you want to jump into the conversation, if you want to answer your times, anything you want to know, make sure you're following that hashtag Toyota eSports Challenge. And of course, make sure that you put a little note in your diaries because we're going to be back next week.
Absolutely. Same time, same place, more WRC action. I can't wait.
Faster brains. Come on, you got this.